Hello all and welcome, and I'm the MGTOW philosopher, and in this video I would like to address another video by Deborah Cooper. Now I posted a prior video about her talking about MGTOW's fascination with sex dolls and sex robots and artificial wombs, even though in that video she went on for most of it talking about how great male sex dolls would be for women, so a little contradictory. But anyway, I found that she had made yet another anti-MGTOW video where she calls us crybabies for then that we're really not going our own way. Well, let's see what she has to say about it, shall we? And the video starts at 5:53 because she spent the prior 5:52 talking about something unrelated in another video. So let's start.
If you guys were really going your own way, then what women thought, what women said about you, what women felt about you, what women talked about behind your back to your face in written form, on you video form, none of that would be of relevance to you.
Okay. What's your point? Are you trying to say that essentially because people reply and post response videos to your videos talking about how nonsensical they believe they are, that they're not going their own way? What? I don't remember anything about MGTOW saying anything about me not being allowed to talk about women. Oh, but you are not allowed to talk about women. Now, of course, you women are perfectly allowed to talk about men and then say you don't need a man and you need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. But, of course, we men, we must need women because we talk about women. And, of course, we do talk about women. That's always a bad thing. We're not allowed to talk about women. But if we are talking about women, we must be obsessed with them, right? Just like your entire channel is about dating and men. So I must assume that you are obsessed with men. Right, Deborah?
Because you would have went your own way.
You don't seem to know what going your own way means, number one. Not getting married, not living with a woman, not having kids with a woman, not in any way, shape, or form giving her access to your resources, putting yourself in a position where she could gain access to your resources. That's it. That's going your own way. Don't you get it? I guess you don't.
And you wouldn't be paying any attention to what women are saying.
Right, I'm not allowed to have an opinion about women, and if I do, I'm somehow obsessed with women. Interesting logic, Deborah. Could you explain why that is the case? Or is that just your opinion based on nothing?
Doing or thinking or typing on YouTube.
Oh, I see. So you're allowed to post your videos that trash men, attack MGTOW, and basically call us names. But we're not allowed to reply because you're a precious snowflake and you're so special and wonderful and superior. How dare we reply to you? And if we do, it totally counters our movement, which isn't really a movement at all because it's like trying to herd cats when you're dealing with men. But we're not real MGTOW if we don't go by Deborah Cooper's definition of MGTOW. I see.
Comments or making videos about, none of that would be important to you. This is why I'm telling you guys that your belief that you're going your own way is merely a scam that somebody's running on all y'all.
Nobody's running a scam. What do you think this is? One of those Nigerian scams where you get an email? If you become MGTOW, I will put $7 million into your bank account from my father, who is president of Nairobi or Jujubi or whatever fucking country is in Africa, and we will give you 10%, and the reason we can't transfer this money ourselves, even though we are rich, is I don't know, but there's some reason, and I'll tell you later. Just give me a bank account and your personal information. Yeah, that's a scam, honey. That's somebody running a scam on somebody, okay? Nobody's running a scam on us. You are being far too literal, and you don't even understand what going your way means. And by the way, there's a reason that men post comments and talk about women and post response videos to women like you. It's to shut down, to counter the arguments of disinformation junkies, of people who are ill-informed like you. You are ill-informed. You don't know anything about MGTOW. You're just trying to trash it because it's bad for you as a woman, and you don't understand it. You don't understand it. You're talking about things you don't understand. You are misleading people, and it's my job to stop that misleading, to correct, okay, to put the correct information out there and to counter your bad arguments, your non-points, your disinformation. Do you get it? You are not the only one allowed to speak. You cannot spread your propaganda BS. I'm going to counter it with truth. okay? And you can try to shame me. Now, what you're doing right now is perfect example of shaming tactics. All you're doing is trying to shame us by saying we're not really what we purport to be, because if we were what we purported to be, you would not even be talking about me, and then you'd leave me alone so I could say whatever the hell I wanted, and then I would have no opposition whatsoever. Yeah, that would be nice if you could be totally free from criticism simply because you're a woman, and you want to shame a man into silence by saying, attacking his manhood or attacking his belief system or saying he's not a real man or a real MGTOW. Oh, wait, isn't that what women already do?
Because I never in my life seen so many men get together and rant and rave and think and talk about women and pussy.
Right, you mean talk about you and comment on your videos and have the audacity to come on your channel and question you. How dare they?
But y'all, it's just crazy. So then he continues. A man truly going his own way goes his own way. Yes, us men have had enough. If you listen to more men, you would realize that we have issues too. Ha!
She don't listen to men. What are you kidding? She doesn't care what men have to say. She doesn't give a crap about men. This woman is a feminist. She's the third wave radical feminist. She doesn't care about men. What she cares about is herself. That's it. I don't even think she cares about fellow women, really. I mean, she just goes on and on about how she cares about women, but it's really just to put forward her own belief system.
Am I not making a whole video series about the issues you have, you cluster B fucked up fucks?
Wow. Boy, so she just insulted us there, called us a bunch of F and F cluster. Interesting. Her arguments are just getting so much more clever.
It's like, you know, you guys got mental issues, you got emotional problems.
We got mental issues, yet you're going on about so much random stuff like a schizophrenic. And if you listen to the last video, she was all over the place talking about bestiality, pedophilia. It was the weirdest thing. You got to listen to it. The last response video I made.
Problems, you all fucked up with Asperger's and whatnot.
What? What the hell is she talking about? She's just throwing out these pejoratives and these insults, these ad hominem attacks. There's no arguments being made here. There's no points being made. She's not throwing out any facts or throwing out any, positing any views and supporting them with logic and evidence. She's just throwing out ad hominem, personal attacks of people, character attacks. I mean, lady, are you supposed to be someone we take seriously, or are you just getting on here to insult men?
I know you got issues. You sing it to the choir, honey.
You know we have issues. Could you perhaps maybe look in a mirror? You think that men who essentially have a lot of experience with women and who simply want to go their way and be left alone and only engage with women for casual purposes are somehow, as you put it, these are your own words, they're somehow fucked up. You know what I think's fucked up? I think it's fucked up that you are so obsessed with men that you feel some need to go after a particular group of men simply because they don't want to have anything to do with you. How insecure of you.
I can pinpoint and list all the issues y'all have.
But you won't. So this is another tactic of a leftist, okay? This is what a leftist will do. Critical theory, but critical theory by inference. So what you'll do is you will criticize and then make an inference. So you have issues, and I could list them, but I'm not. So what she's done is basically put forward this menagerie, this mental package of imaginary issues, and then she lets you, the listener, in your mind fill in the blanks. So everybody's listening and is filling in the blanks with all these issues that men have. And so essentially, she's made the argument that we have issues, but she hasn't actually made any argument. It's a very, very popular leftist trick. Yeah, I'll name the reasons later. These guys are all fucked up, and I'll tell you why later, and then you never hear it. Or, I could do it. I'm just not gonna. If you could do it, you would.
The list is numerous.
Okay, give us the list, please.
Numerous.
Where's the list? I'm waiting for this list.
It's ridiculous how many issues you have.
We're still waiting for the list, so you're just reinforcing the idea that there's some long list, and you're letting the imagination of the listener fill the list in so that your points are somehow verified, even though you've given nothing in regards to your list. We're fucked up how?
But ain't nobody trying to be bothered with all that shit.
Oh, of course not, because that would require facts and figures and arguments. It would require actual arguments that I could pick apart so easily. But I've just pointed out the fact that you're trying to be what you think is intellectually clever by using Frankfurt School critical theory bullshit, and it doesn't fly with me, honey.
If we worried about all y'all's issues, we wouldn't have time to worry about ourselves and progressing in our own lives.
Oh, I see. So in counterpoint, us men who can not only say that women have issues as far as their female nature, but we can actually go into detail. Oh, well, us doing that just means we're obsessed with women. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, I could go into detail, but I'm not going to do, because I just don't have the time, even though I just made a 15-minute video about how messed up you guys are. So clearly you have the time to do so, and it would only serve to reinforce your position, to give those ways that we're fucked up. Oh, but you just don't have the time. Okay. What that really means is you don't have the ability to do so, because we're not fucked up at all. But we men, we have the ability to comment on your female nature, because it is messed up. And it is messed up how the system has given you free reign to indulge your nature, the worst part of your female nature. And we're able to go into detail about that and talk about the many different ways that women act or are allowed to act and are encouraged to act, that have screwed up our country, that has essentially destroyed the Western world, which is always what happens when you let women get into power. Women always indulge their most petty aspects of their nature, and to the detriment of everyone. And this woman's just a perfect example of this, as she goes on and on with pejorative attacks, ad hominems, straw mans, logical fallacies. She's all over the place. Critical theory. I mean, this one, not one point, though, does she actually give an actual argument. Not one. You might think she had, but if you listen, there's no arguments being presented.
So, women have other shit to do than worry about you and your issues.
Uh-huh. And yet, you made this video.
And listening to you, that's definitely not on nobody that I know's agenda.
Right. Oh, yet you said that you know that men have issues, but you don't really want to hear about them. And, of course, it's on no woman's agenda to hear anything about men's issues, even though you tried to kind of fake interest in our issues. Like, yes, I know men have issues. Yeah, but you really don't give a shit. You just said that. You don't care. You can give a shit about men. Typical third-wave feminist.
So then, and he closes out with this final paragraph, and he says,
oh, look at this picture. My diagnosis is you have a serious case of bitch boy. I'm prescribing man the fuck up 3 times daily. Well, this is the typical response you hear from a feminist. Even though they're not men, they don't know what it would be like to be a man. They want to be men. They try to be men, but all they do is make really bad men.
It's unfair what society expects of us. We are treated like disposable utilities while females are celebrated in society. You know why females are celebrated? Because females have the pussy.
What? What did she just say? So we're supposed to take this woman seriously after saying something that stupid? How does having a pussy, as you put it, those are her words, not mine. She's so professional. Don't you want her giving you dating advice? So how does you having a pussy make you any more entitled to adulation than me having a dick? So I have a cock, you have a pussy. How are they in any way imbalanced? I mean, one, the other, cock, pussy. How is pussy better than cock? Could you explain that, please?
It's been that way since time began, and it will be that way until this planet blows the fuck up.
Okay, so you admit that you are special and entitled, and that women have always been put on a pedestal and been treated special, yet at the same time they were disenfranchised and oppressed far more than men, and they didn't have equality, but at the same time they were special, and it's always been that way, and it'll be that way till the end of time. Could you contradict yourself anymore, honey?
As she who has the pussy has the power.
And yet, you somehow expect us to believe that women in the past didn't have the power, even though you just said it's always been that way. Interesting. Could you be lacking somewhat in self-reflection? Are you not thinking about what you're saying? Oh, you're just forgetting yourself and telling the truth and what all women actually think. I see. Okay, continue.
And that's why y'all go through all these changes. You're mad. You want to go to schools and shoot up people like Elliot Rodgers.
What the hell is she talking about? What? Wait. So, guys going and shooting up schools and like these handful of crazy mass shooters we have had over the years are doing so because they're MGTOW? What?
Because you got rejected. You get around in your little cult sex on YouTube and rant and rave and call women bitches and whores and shit to make yourselves feel better.
What is she talking about? The people who did those things were mentally ill. They didn't go out and buy an AK-47 or an whatever the hell gun they used and go into a movie theater and shoot people or into a school and kill kids because they couldn't get pussy. What planet are you living on making these stupid comments, lady?
About the fact that don't nobody want you. You rant.
What are you talking about? Now you're on the subject of mass shooters being essentially just losers that couldn't get pussy, and you're trying to equate that to MGTOW? Could you make any more of a spurious conflation if you tried?
Rave about thugs getting all the women, but you know if you would switch places with them in a heartbeat, shut the fuck up.
What are you talking about? I don't know any MGTOW guys who complain about thugs getting women. What are you talking about? Good Lord, lady. Why don't you try doing some actual research on a group of people before you start talking about them?
All y'all need to shut up, you big fucking crybabies.
What is she? Who are you talking to now? Because I feel like you're talking to somebody else entirely. You went so far off subject, I don't know who you're addressing. Are you addressing the crazy mass shooter crowd of mentally ill people? Or the people with... I mean, what in the hell are you talking about?
All you do is sit around and cry about what you don't have and how women don't want you, yet you...
What are you talking about? MGTOW don't... you see, I think she's made a big mistake here and is veering into territory that has nothing to do with MGTOW. She's essentially taking what she believes to be fact, and then she's superimposing it onto what is reality, and then saying that we do these things when we do not. I've never complained about not being able to get women, because I get women just fine. I don't know who she's talking about. I mean, she's not talking about me personally, but she's trying to represent MGTOW essentially as losers that can't get women. What? You need to watch some of my videos, honey, and red pill yourself, okay? I mean, really. And you need to be a little more focused in how you present things, because you're all over the place.
Complain about you going your own way. You ain't taking 2 steps away from the nearest vagina.
So she's talking about not shaming guys, yet all she's done throughout this entire video since we started is shame men. This woman is a man shamer through and through. She's a typical woman. Oy vey.
Everybody knows that. I don't understand what you all be trying to trick yourselves for.
Who are you talking about? MGTOW. Oh, this woman, she's a total waste of time to listen to, because all she uses is shaming tactics, ad hominem attacks, and no arguments. She's just all feeling. She's all over the place. Very annoying, actually, because she's just so off base. You don't know what the hell she's talking about.
Just admit it. You're mad because you ain't getting no trim.
Lady, oh yeah, she's not talking to me, but I think she believes she's talking to the majority of MGTOW guys. Madam, let me explain something to you about MGTOW. The majority of MGTOW guys have chosen to go their own way. I know you like to cynically think, and this woman is a lot like the people in the video I posted about white knights. I just posted a video recently about how why white knights hate MGTOW, and she's actually a lot like white knights. She seems to conflate not what she can't seem to imagine. Geez, a man not wanting a woman. Yeah, wow, how could that be? Well, you know, what are you talking about? We just want sex, honey, and we get sex just fine. Now you're saying we can't get sex. Okay, so MGTOW is about leaving behind relationships and not sex. So where did you get the idea that MGTOW is about giving up sex with women? Where did you get that idea? Because now you're conflating relationships and marriage with sex, and as every guy knows, they're in no way the same, because once you get married, you get much less sex.
admit it and then do something about it and stop trying to pretend like you don't care, because your pretense is like crumbling
But
at
I
your
don't
feet.
care.
Everybody knows that you're lying except you.
Oh.
So then he says,
Oh, I see. You know me better than me, even though you don't seem to know you at all. Okay.
things are uneven between the genders.
Look at this. Deborah Cooper, dating expert and advice columnist. Really? Oh, my God.
And they always have been. But that's why women had a pussy.
What?
So then he says we all have...
What? Wait, what? I gotta listen to that again. What did that...
lying, except you. So then he says, things are uneven between the genders, and they always have been. But that's why women had a pussy.
Whoa, wait, what? They always have been uneven? And when you say that, you imply it's uneven with women having more power. But I thought that women were always disenfranchised. Now you're saying the opposite. It seems like she's well aware that women were never disenfranchised. It seems like she knows that quite well and is perfectly okay with that, and is in fact even more okay with now being in a superior position. This is what I've been telling you guys all along. Women do not want equality. They want superiority. They already have superiority, and now they want more power.
So then he says we all have issues. It's about time society recognizes our problems and addresses them. Let me tell you why that's not going to happen. Okay, let's talk about what society is.
Honey, society doesn't exist. Okay? There is no Borg collective. It's just a bunch of people that decide to live in the same friggin' area.
What is society? Society is...
Oh, she can't even pronounce it correctly. Good God.
The structure under which we conduct ourselves, our beliefs.
It's a glass dome.
Belief systems about treatment of others, our political system, our religious beliefs.
No, that's not society. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
The rules and of the road, our laws, our mores,
You think all that's society? Really? You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
all of that creates our society.
Wrong.
Okay, our belief
Wrong.
in marriage, husbands, wives, families.
Wrong. Society does not exist. It's made up. It's a collectivist, leftist creation so that you can essentially create identity political groups and group people by, their identity, and then tell them, you're this identity, so your group should believe this other group should believe that, and then we're going to pitch you against each other and create all this friction within society. And meanwhile, we just rub our hands together, and we get more and more power through all your infighting. And then we use your little identity groups within society to form collectives that will serve us and keep us in power, us being the politicians and who are above them pulling the strings, the global elites. But society in and of itself doesn't exist. It's a construct. It's fake. It's faux. It's not real. There is no Borg collective, although you might qualify as a Borg.
All this stuff. Okay, all of that is created. It's called society. Do you know who created society? White.
That's created, lady. It's not a building. It doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form. Okay? It's just an idea in people's head. All right? That's it.
Males. White males.
Oh, here we go with the idea that society, men, the patriarchy, created the way things are. So they're the ones that gave women all this power to begin with. Oh, it's the patriarchy. I see. But isn't patriarchy about empowering men? Why would men empower women if they're all about taking care of and looking after themselves? You're contradicting yourself quite a bit, lady.
Do you know, not just white males, old white males.
Huh?
Not just old white males, old, rich white males.
Oh, here we go with the white privilege. I made a video about this, totally debunking white privilege, okay? It's just like the patriarchy. If there was white privilege, this system would have been created to enfranchise white men if there was white privilege. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form. You want to know who's in power? You look at who you are not allowed to criticize. Who is it perfectly acceptable to criticize? Who is it perfectly acceptable to say shit about, no matter what you might say? White men. So don't tell me that white men are in charge, okay?
And do you know why they created society the way that they did?
She can't even pronounce the word. How does anybody take this lady seriously? I don't think they do.
Because they would position themselves, since they have the money and since they have the power, to get.
You really think they have the power? Honey, I got news for you. The voters have the power, and the guys that print the money have the power. The dudes in political office, they don't have the power.
All the
They're just puppets.
pussy. That's what they did that for. So you guys who come along after them, you have to either strive to be like them, and we'll let you into their club.
Oh, I see. So hypergamy and women wanting wealthy guys is guys' fault. We created that. It's our fault. We created that paradigm. We created that trend. Oh, very interesting. So yet again, a woman blames a man for their own behavior, their own bad behavior. Interesting.
If you fail, that is your fault. You suffer the consequence.
Who are you talking about? She's applying all of these qualities to MGTOW guys that don't really apply in large scale.
And they are laughing at you. And
who is laughing? What are you talking about? This woman is really, her video, I don't understand where she's going, because she really can't seem to focus. She's all over the place.
And they did that on purpose, because by doing that, those 20% of dudes get to have 80% of the women. Okay?
So they created things. It's not women that want security and want to be taken care of. Men socialize them to be that way. Oh, okay. So even men are to blame for female nature. Interesting.
So y'all, you 80% are fighting over that 20%. And you don't, when a woman tells you, like me, who spends.
We're not fighting over, because that 20% is men. We're not fighting over that time. Lady, you don't even make any sense.
Her sweet time trying to tell you how you could up your chances of being, a winner in that, of that 20% of women.
Wait, you mean, what are you talking about, lady? I thought it's the 20% of men that all the 80% of women are fighting over. Now it's 80% of men fighting for 20% of women. What? She's not even making any sense. I'm not even following what the hell she's talking about. I think she got herself confused, and what she's trying to say is that men essentially created the paradigm within which women fight to get that 20% of top men, and 80. I'm having to make her own argument for her because she's making so little sense and is so difficult to understand. I'm going to have to do it for her. Where 80% of the women fighting for 20% of the guys, and you need to up your game to become one of these 20%ers so that you can get the women. So essentially, she's telling you right there that this is the reality. That, yeah, men are right. Women do just care about men's resources. I'm admitting that. Okay.
You don't want to hear it. You don't want to change. You want to be just like you are.
Yeah. You need to get richer and get more resources so women will want you more, even though we don't want them. Oh, but we secretly do want them, and we're just saying that we're going our own way as some sort of cover or excuse for the fact that we can't really get women. Oh, I see.
And I'm just, okay, I mean, nobody can make you, but you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, because we should really be out there accumulating resources. When we say we're going our own way and that we're not going to marry a woman or live with a woman or have kids with a woman, that really means that we want the opposite. Oh, okay.
Because, you're mad at women.
No, you're way off base. We're not mad at women. What planet are you on? Lady, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what MGTOW you've been talking to, but obviously none. MGTOW are not mad at women. We are peeved about essentially the people we are mad at are white knights and manginas and simps and cucks. You need to watch my video on why white knights hate MGTOW. Those are the guys we're angry about. Those are the people. We're angry at guys, really. We're angry, not women, because these guys are the ones that enabled women in many ways to get the power they now have. And we're angry with the system and the global elite socialist communists who appeal to women like you to push their agenda. But female nature is what it is, and we certainly didn't create it. And you trying to imply that we did is laughable.
Angry at women for you not being able to achieve your dream.
No. You're
angry at women for you being rejected because you're not good enough. You don't have enough money.
Got plenty of money. I don't know what this woman's talking about. And I get plenty of women because of that money. I think she's referring to a very, very small minority of MGTOW who do claim to be MGTOW because they can't get women, but that's maybe like 5%. I just love how people try to take what is a minority and an outlier within a group and then try to represent that as the majority to make that entire group look bad.
You don't look good enough. You don't have enough power. You're not established. I mean, if you were a college student or something, you still have an opportunity. But you dudes in your 30s and 40s crying about this shit. See,
crying about what? What are we crying about? Are we crying about not being able to get women? I'm not crying about that because I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what she's talking about. This lady's out of her mind. No, we're not crying about anything. I'm not crying about anything. The reason I'm on YouTube, the reason I make videos and create content is to warn men. To warn men that have not yet been red pilled because I have a particular talent with articulating myself. I have a particular talent of getting my ideas across and doing it in a way that's somewhat entertaining that people want to hear. So people actually listen somewhat, at least, to what I have to say. So that's what I'm doing because I can, because I have that ability, and because I have the resources and time to be able to do it. It's that simple. I could give a crap. In fact, to be honest, I would just like to stop making these videos and go about my daily life. I really would. But I have the knowledge and the resources and the ability to get this information across to men. So I do it to help other men. But really, I would prefer not to be honest, because it's a lot of work and it's a pain. But it has a payoff. And honestly, lady, you're making a lot of assumptions, okay? You're making a lot of assumptions. And essentially, you're commenting in a very negative way about men who are really just letting off steam. So you really shouldn't make so many assumptions, especially when you know so little about the subject matter.
It's too late for you. You fucked. You just are fucked, and that's just the way it is.
I think it's
but
too late for
the person
you.
who fucked you isn't women. The fucked you are rich white men, okay? Because they set all this shit up. All of these rules and regulations and all these standards that they taught their daughters and that their fathers taught their daughters.
Here we go. So patriarchy is to blame for women's hypergamy. Oh, this is an interesting argument.
See, this is the stuff that you're fighting against. Rich, old, white men.
It's always the rich old white guy that's responsible for the fall of society because he's got the most money, right? So he's the worst human being on earth. It's not that you aren't poor, honey. It's not, Deborah, that you... I think what Deborah's doing here is projecting. And essentially, Deborah is perhaps a loser. Deborah is perhaps someone who hasn't accomplished as much as she would like to have in her life. And Deborah is perhaps an unfulfilled person. And so Deborah blames the white man, just like every leftist, communist, socialist, pinko does. It's always the fault of someone who did better than me, because if you got three people in a room and one guy has $5 and the other guys have $1 each on him, well, that guy that has $5, he must have somehow stolen much of what he has from those two other people who have less. Yes. It is the mantra of the envious and jealous person. She is just projecting.
Not women. Especially not.
It's not the fault of white men, Deborah, that you have not done well in your life. It is your fault. Yours.
Black women. So, y'all barking up the wrong tree.
You are barking up the wrong tree, Deborah. We don't bark up anybody's tree, yours or anyone else's. We go our own way. But that doesn't mean we can't talk about these issues and try to inform other men. And it doesn't mean that you get to say whatever you want and we can't reply. I know you'd like it to be that way. And I know you want to create this shaming tactic that makes it okay to shut us MGTOW guys down so we cannot reply to you when you bash us. And you try to shame us and say that we are not real MGTOW men because we are not going our own way in the most literal interpretation that you have made of MGTOW. And you've created some kind of definition that excludes us from being able to reply in a critical way to you. How convenient for you, Deborah.
Confused. You haven't really thought this through.
This is very funny coming from someone who is giving so many uninformed opinions about a subject that she clearly hasn't put any thought into what she's discussing.
You're sitting there and you're looking and you're listening to idiots on YouTube.
Do I need to point out the irony?
And you're regurgitating the nonsense that they've been telling you, and you're like, it's like a mantra. It's like a chat. And
Okay, so she's clearly not talking to me because, honey, the truth is I don't listen to other MGTOW videos except on very rare occasion, okay? And nobody put this stuff in my head. I'm an old guy. This stuff came to me. I learned about MGTOW very recently, and when I found out about it, I was like, huh, well, this is me, just without the label. Okay, so I'll adopt the label because, that's pretty much what I am. It was that simple. Nobody put the shit in my head. Maybe people put shit into your head because you're a Borg.
you haven't turned your brain on to really analyze what they're saying and what it really means and the real source of your consternation.
This from a woman who has spent this entire video name-calling, making character attacks, and giving no arguments to support the supposed positions that you posit. Interesting that you would say that we are not analyzing things.
It has nothing to do with women. It has everything to do with rich, old, white men.
I think it has everything to do with rich old white men to you, okay? Because you feel that they have oppressed you as an old black woman somehow.
Setting things up to eliminate as much competition for pussy as possible.
Oh, really? I think you overestimate the value of what you have to offer, honey, because honestly, men are not all that concerned about pussy, except for white knights. Now, those are the guys that have a hard time getting it, it seems, at least to some extent.
It's the same as with the animal kingdom. You know, you got to get in where you fit in. Think about lions. Because, like, you know, the lion, he'd go to the lion, right? He got all his, you know, his little pride, all his women, right? He just fucking making his babies and just, you know, living the life of Riley. So then here come another lion, right? He's like, oh, look, pussy. I want that. I want to take that over. So the two lions duel it out. Sometimes the lionesses get in and help. You know, they help kick the dude's ass. So they're like, nah, we're not really trying to fuck with you.
What is this woman? She's so humorous. My God, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She just blathers on endlessly with no point.
So we don't really want you here, so we're going to help him kick your ass. And so then all the lions beat the other lion. He limps away, and he's all by himself, all alone, rejected, wandering through the jungle with no pussy and no friends. See, that's y'all.
What? Are you saying I at some point got into a fight with a lion? Or the male equivalent, and some of his harem came out, and they all beat my ass, and I ran off, and now I'm somehow dejected and rejected and angry at women, and so I'm going my own way because a lion man and his harem attacked me and beat me up. What? What are you talking about?
You don't have no pussy and you don't have no friends.
Oh, my God. I'm getting tired of refuting this. I mean, okay, maybe you're suggesting that I am some kind of outlier and that the majority of MGTOW guys are not like me and don't get pussy and can't get pussy. That hasn't been my experience. The majority of guys I've met that adhere to this kind of philosophy are more just like bachelors. Have you ever heard the old bachelor lifestyle, guys that essentially just, remain bachelors their whole lives? Did they not get pussy? No, they did. They just didn't marry women. That's really what you want. So you're doing all this shaming to try and make men feel bad, and you're trying to create some kind of negative view of MGTOW so that whenever a man thinks about going his own way, that he associates it with this kind of shameful group and ideology that just, they can't get women, and they're such losers. You don't want to go down that route. You should marry a woman. Uh-huh. Okay.
So you trying to make friends online and y'all get together and hoop and holler and act a fool.
Oh, we're acting like fools. Should I regurgitate what you just said about the lion harem and trying to conflate that with human beings?
But in reality, see, that lion with the pussy, that's the old rich white man I was telling you about.
I say whenever I hear this rich white man argument coming from what is clearly a communist, I just have to cringe.
Y'all, as the little scrubs, try to come up and get your ass kicked by the realities of the society in which you are trying to break into.
There is no society, sweetheart. I don't know what you're talking about. I know you're a Borg, and you think society is some real thing, that there is this collective of people, okay, and that they all have the same thoughts and the same feelings, and they're all working toward the same collective goals. But it doesn't work like that.
So, your best bet is to just accept that these old rich white men fucked you over.
Right, these amorphous, these unnamed, unsubstantiated claims that she makes, and yet again, no evidence to back up this, what is an opinion, I see. And of course, it has to be old, rich, white men. I see. They have to be white. All right.
And there's really not too much you can do about it unless you figure out a way to get your shit together and join them. You can't beat them, so you better join them.
This is so stupid. Because you can get pussy very easily without money. You don't need money. She doesn't know what she's talking about at all.
It's the only thing I can suggest for you. And,
but at least she's being honest about what women care about. Money. But, of course, that's man's fault, too. I see.
Then he says, us men are human beings, not human doings. You need to be a human doing instead of a human being, because you're over there being stupid. You need to be doing something to change your...
What's with these stupid platitudes? She doesn't say anything really valuable, just makes these dumb platitudes. Oh, you need to be a human doing, not a human being. Oh, that's so clever. That's so very clever.
And make your dreams come true.
We make our dreams come true, and we do it without women, okay? We don't need women, all right? And when we want to get them, then we get them. Because once we've made our dreams come true, once we become rich and successful, then we have no problem getting them. But we still don't want to live with them. We still don't want to have kids with them. We still don't want to marry them. She's really, really, really making a mistake. So here's her posited theory. Okay, so MGTOW are losers. So they're really just guys who can't get pussy. So they go in their own way, all right? But they should really just get rich, get a lot of money, so they can get women. And then that's the goal in her mind. That's what she thinks men's goals are. My goal was never anything like that. My goal was to be successful, to make a decent amount of money, to be self-sufficient, and to achieve my dreams. And women were more to me just, they're on the radar, and I'll bang them whenever I'm, horny, and that's about it. If anybody actually uses that word horny anymore. And so shows I'm getting old. But anyway, yeah, lady, you don't understand MGTOW. You see, you're mistaking. You're just mistaking losers for MGTOW. You're conflating the word loser. Okay, with MGTOW, and that's not MGTOW, guys, the majority, okay? Sorry to inform you of that.
Deb Cooper from SurvivingDating.com, signing out.
Oh, my God. So there's her little page of, very long page of self-promotion. So Deborah Cooper, as she blathers on and on endlessly in what is essentially a hate diatribe against men, verbal diarrhea diatribe that is nothing more than attacking men, and trying to make MGTOW in the worst possible light, is really, she didn't bring MGTOW very much. I mean, she's these and those, and she's as general as she possibly could be. But she's clearly trying to paint MGTOW in a very negative light. MGTOW are just these loser guys. They can't get women. You hear this all the time online. And I was actually surprised when I joined MGTOW, when I adopted the moniker, that was the case. Because really, there's a lot of people out there misunderstanding. She clearly seems to think that pussy has way more value than it does. Okay, it's much cheaper now. This is not the 1950s anymore, honey. Pussy is relatively cheap. And you make a mistake when you conflate the few guys online that are the most bitter, the most angry, and the most hateful with the majority of MGTOW guys. Because the majority are not like that. The majority are men who've made a conscious decision to go their own way because they have had, past tense and actually happened, had lots of experience with women and seen firsthand the damage that female nature run amok can do to a man's life. And they don't want that anymore. They don't want that craziness in their life anymore. They want their resources to go to them. They want to live for themselves. And they don't want women in their lives anymore in any serious way to screw things up. And it's that simple. And that's something you don't seem to be able to grasp, Deborah. It never entered your mind that there could be a group of men out there who are successful and who are going their own way so they can be even more successful. Oh, no, that never occurred to you, did it, Deborah? Could it be, Deborah, that you need to open your mind up a little more? I think that you need to open your mind up a lot more, but to the correct ideas and not the Marxist, socialist, communist, feminist, pinko ideas that you have currently opened your mind up to and let your brain become awash in. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.